You've been wonderful. Thank you so much, and good night.
I come from a musical family, and my dad played rhythm guitar in the late 40s in the Green Mountain Boys. It was a Vermont band. They played 2 nights a week for several years. So, and everybody in the Lebel family played an instrument, and I grew up to be an educator, music educator. My dad's instrument was a early 50s Harmony Sovereign acoustic guitar made out of plywood. And it was an archtop instrument, but plywood, so it had a pretty thin sound. The neck was bigger than a huge baseball bat. I couldn't get my hands around it. And my dad said, well, you're going to have to wait a couple of years till your hands grow. And I was devastated. And the strings were like telephone pole wires. It's like, how do you play this? And my dad just liked big strings, but he was a rhythm guitar player. Not until I started mowing lawns and getting side jobs when I was a kid. And I hit my teens, I began to work around the neighborhood, and then I actually bought my first Gibson. Oh, I don't know, 1968. I played folk masses. I was 12. And I played with my dad and a family friend who was a respected musician. And we're up there playing, Michael, row the boat ashore, and the place was packed, like 300 people, and my mom and my sisters in the front row just staring at me, not even blinking. And we're playing away, and I thought, we must be terrible because nobody claps, because you didn't clap in church. It was disrespectful. 1970 at the Kangaroo Pouch with my friend Mike and Jeff. And it was a blast. I think we made about $5 or $10 a piece. As a music educator, I'm very invested in getting kids introduced to music.
A little sister, don't you? A little sister, don't you? A little sister, don't you kiss me once or twice?
I went on the road, and I joined a top 40 group that was working 6 nights a week, and we played all the Mafia joints in South Jersey. We played 8 p.m., 6 sets a night, 6 nights a week, 36 sets a week I was playing. I wound up in a punk band. Now here I was 22, I think, and I met these guys that were successful. They were playing the clubs, they were packing them in, and they needed a guitarist, and they called me, and these guys were punk, Sex Pistols, Generation X. I'm like, and I was really learning music. I was learning jazz standards because I was playing with the Girl Watchers, and I was like, wow, punk rock. It's about 3 chords, and if you're a good musician, that ruins the whole thing. You just got to be rebellious and oh my God, God Save the Queen and stuff like that. It was crazy. And then that band did some tours out to the Midwest, and I found that there was a lot of drugs around, and I don't really like that. That's not my thing. So then I moved to Buffalo and joined The Road.
What's become of me?
And that's, in my opinion, things really started to happen for me as a musician because I was learning so much from these great musicians. The band leader was an Eastman School graduate, and I just learned so much from him. And these guys, it was a 6-piece band, everybody could sing lead, and I'm like, wow, we're doing these really difficult, at that time, progressive songs. I sat in with Tallis a couple of times, and it was a privilege. I thought they were a great band, great people. So I met Billy 2 weeks after moving to Buffalo because his original mentor on bass was Joey Hesse, who played bass in The Road since day one. So we formed the Mob, Musicians of Buffalo, with the intention of getting all our friends together to play, and we still try to do that as much as possible. And really the inspiration for Billy, it was originally Billy's idea, is that we were starting to lose some of our friends, people that, we've lost quite a few, over the past few years locally. We're trying to grow it. The bigger we grow it, the more kids that we can help get into music programs, help Music as Art fund their music initiatives. So I get very, very excited about growing this organization. And I got to tell you, there are people that I don't think there's anyone I'd rather work with, than Billy and Jesse on this project. And it's fun. A band that was very successful in the early 80s in Buffalo called Red, R-R-E-D. It was a group that I was in with some other fellows, and that band is doing a reunion, the first time in like 35, 37 years. So, it's part of the purpose of doing the shows, honoring musicians and nurturing young musicians. This is the one event you will play. It's not a gig, it's a presentation. And it's huge. It's a presentation. And I expect everybody to work at a very, very high standard, because whenever I work in Nashville with folks, I've worked down there several times, and it's amazing. These guys show up on time and they know their stuff. And it's huge. When I was 14, our family home in New Milford, Connecticut, my dad rigged up a little room in the basement, and it was paneled and all that, and I've been down in the basement ever since. Imagine a day without music. Get in your car, turn on the radio, and there's no music. It's only chatter. Or watch a great film without music. It's such an important means of communication, because we as musicians are pitching so that the audience can catch, but that level of communication heals. It heals. I've played music for friends who are dying. I've gone to hospice. It's so healing. It's so healing,